Okay, so layer masks. What exactly is a layer mask? A layer, we can create one on this layer by clicking this button right here. This is Add Layer Mask. And that will add the layer mask to the top layer, the one that we had selected. Now you'll notice that you can go between, you can select either the normal picture or the layer mask. When the normal picture is just selected, we can paint color onto our picture just like that. And we can switch between colors and just use any type of color we want to. But when we click the layer mask, that entity is now selected. So we can only use black and white on a layer mask. If we choose red or something, it's just going to turn that color into a form of gray. So we can only use black and white on a layer mask, and here's why. When I click and paint black on my layer mask, look what happens. The black areas, I can see through the black areas onto the layer that's behind this layer. So using black colors on a layer mask is basically like using scissors to cut out the area that you don't want. Except here you can see that the edges are actually really soft, so you can't do that in real life. That's why Photoshop is so cool. If we were using regular scissors in real life, it would look like this. It would look like it would have hard edges. But with Photoshop, we can soften those up and make it look cool. So that is what a layer mask is. The black areas, you can see through them onto the layer that's behind the top layer. The white colors are just representing the area where you can only see the top layer. So I just showed you what a layer mask was. It's where you can just paint in on the layer mask. But you can also do the exact same thing with selections. I just made a really simple box selection here using the rectangular marquee tool. And now I can fill this selection in with black or white on my layer mask. And I'm not talking about just grabbing the paintbrush tool and then painting in where I want to do that. You can do that if you want to, but there's a quicker way to make it happen. What you have to do is make a selection, and here is the keyboard shortcut key of what this is. If you push Control Backspace, that will fill in this selection with the background color. And that happens to be black right now. If I pushed Alt Backspace, that would fill in this box with the foreground color, which happens to be white right now. I could switch them, and it would be the opposite of what I just told you. Well, all you got to do is remember that Control Backspace is the background color, and I just filled it in by pressing Control Backspace. And Alt Backspace is the foreground color. So remember that, and you can make very quick selections, and you can fill them in instantly, just like that. So that is how you fill in a selection with a layer mask paintbrush. But there is one other thing that I want to show you before we move on to getting into all the cool pictures, and that is this drop-down box right here. These are called blending modes. And all these are is a way of combining this picture. Let me just delete the layer mask. You can combine this picture with the one underneath it. So for example, if I choose darken, that is going to make only the dark colors visible. If I choose multiply, it's going to be this pretty much, it's very similar to darken, but there's more kind of latitude. So let me just go through these so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. It's a better way of sort of fading in a picture with another one below it. So that is one cool thing you want to know. And the other thing that I wanted to show you is this opacity right here. If you lower this to 50% or whatever, That's the opacity basically just means the transparency of this current layer. So if this is at 50%, that means I can see this is only halfway showing, and everything behind this layer is going to be seen 50%. So that's it. That's how you work with layer masks and layers in general.